Konflik berkepanjangan, Palestina dan Israel belum juga menemukan titik terang. Hampir 1 tahun lewat sejak perang Palestina dan Israel berkecamuk, perundingan gencatan senjata belum juga tuntas. Karmel Mursalim, produser lapangan CNN Indonesia, berkesempatan mewawancarai Menteri Luar Negeri Palestina Riyad Malki terkait kondisi terkini di Gaza dan harapan gencatan senjata yang tak kunjung tercapai.
We have here with us Dr. Riyad Malki, the Minister and Advisor to the Palestinian President on International Relations. How are you today, sir?
Very good, thank you.
First and foremost, we would like to extend our condolences on the tragedies that have been happening in Palestine for the past year, and also our condolences for the assassination of Hamas political bureau leader Ismail Haniyeh.
Thank you very much. It has been very difficult for us, all these months that have really passed, where we, unfortunately, we see death and total destruction that has been really committed against our people, in particular in Gaza, against children and women, with the intention of not only killing but also eliminating the presence and the livelihood of our people and our existence in Gaza. So thank you very much for your condolences. It's very painful, very tragic to see that happening, and that it continues on a daily basis. That it also exposed not only the Israeli real face of genocide, destruction, and crimes committed against our people, but also the ineffectiveness of the international community and the world in trying really to stop that atrocities and the war, and to show that the world is incapable of pressuring and forcing Israel to stop their crimes against our people.
And we'll be touching on the international community support in a little bit. But first, I just want to ask you, has the assassination of Haniyeh put Palestine's diplomatic efforts for a ceasefire at greater risk?
Look, the ceasefire is a necessity, and it is very important in order to salvage innocent lives in Gaza. So Netanyahu's intentions was to destruct such efforts by the international community to reach a ceasefire. Assassinating Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran was intended to undermine all such efforts and to widen the conflict into a regional war by bringing Iran into the conflict. And by doing so, he expects the United States of America to come to his side. What we are looking for is to borrow time for people before the new round of death, destruction, and killing. So sometimes, when I speak to people in Gaza, they are telling me that they are on the waiting list of death. If they are not killed today, they are going to be killed tomorrow. If not tomorrow, so the day after. They know that as long as such war continues, then there is no hope for them, to survive. If not, they are not killed by the bombs. They will be killed by starvation. They will be killed by the diseases, the epidemics.
Jumping off of that point, how are your diplomatic relationships with the international community? Has there been any changes or developments that you can share?
We consider that our diplomatic relationship with the world is in the best in the best point. 149 countries have recognized the state of Palestine, which is really very important. When we need to go to the General Assembly of the United Nations, we enjoy the voting of the majority of state parties. When we go to the Security Council, we get 14 votes out of 15, overwhelming, with the exception of the United States of America that uses its veto in order to shield Israel and to protect Israel from any kind of sanctions and condemnation. We always believe that the support that the Palestinian cause has enjoyed over the years from the international community, especially from countries including, Indonesia and others, have really helped us very much to reach where we are today and to succeed in what we have achieved so far in terms of our diplomatic efforts. So we should be grateful to all such countries and thankful to all of them for what they have really done, because without them, we couldn't really say that we enjoy what we are enjoying today.
Indonesia has been a vocal supporter for Palestine's freedom. Has there been recent discussions on cooperation in military or trade areas with Indonesia?
Look, I do remember as a foreign minister, that when I was here in 2018, we held the first joint ministerial commission between Indonesia and Palestine. My colleague Ritno, presented, the Indonesian side, and we discussed ways how to widen, improve, and deepen our bilateral relations. Obviously, this is really has been the case since then, and we can say that things have been much better today. Yes, obviously, there should be more discussions, when it comes to our trade relationship, when it comes to exchanges, on different aspects. We should consider signing different MOUs, agreements, and we have signed. Since that time until today, different agreements have been signed. We should really look and review what has happened so far and what is needed to inject, more momentum into such relationship, because we know that in the Indonesian leadership and the Palestinian leadership are very much eager and want such relationship to prosper, to develop, to improve, to widen, and it is our duty, as ministers, to implement such instructions and decisions.
We're going to go across the ocean for a little bit. We know the upcoming United States elections will take place in November this year, and the political dynamics between Palestine and Israel will influence key developments in American politics. Conversely, how will the U.S. election results have its impact on Palestine?
It will. It has been always the case. Look, we should be frank, to say that, Israel, without the help of the United States of America, couldn't continue its occupation until today, and couldn't commit the type of crimes and atrocities that they have been committing against our people in Gaza for the last 319 days. It's very clear that U.S. Political, financial, and military support of Israel has been detrimental, to us, and has allowed Israel to think that it is really immune from any kind of criticism, that Israel is above accountability, and that they can really commit all types of crimes against the Palestinian people without being really accounted for. United States of America has been utilizing its veto power in the Security Council in order to shield Israel and to protect Israel from any form of criticism, condemnation. We had high expectations from Biden administration, but we were very much disappointed because, you know, Biden administration after 4 years did not erase any of the decisions that Trump administration has really undertaken against the Palestinian people. In particular, the recognition of Jerusalem as, you know, the capital of the State of Israel, moving the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, or closing, you know, the U.S. consulate in East Jerusalem, or closing the Palestinian representative office in Washington, or even, you know, the decisions that were taken by the U.S. Congress. Obviously, we did not see that much from such an administration. So, yes, we are very much affected directly, more than indirectly, by U.S. elections. Regardless who will vote, will win. Maybe with Trump it will be much worse. Maybe with Harris it will be less, but we don't expect that much, you know, change regarding that situation.
And we all hope for a peaceful resolution to all these atrocities that have been happening for the past year. Dr. Riyad Malki, Your Excellency, thank you so much for your time today. I wish you well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dan itu tadi Asian Corner pada pekan ini. Kita kembali ke rekan saya, Tiffany. Tiffany, silakan.
Terima kasih Iqbal, dan CNN Indonesia Connected masih akan kembali usai jeda dengan informasi lainnya.